Hello and welcome to another episode. I am Brian, the Unskilled Commander. This is match 3 of my 4 brand new decks: Life Gain Angels, Black Waltz Indirect Damage, Tifa Commander Damage, and Helix Pinnacle Silliness. We've actually had different winners from the first 2 games, which is nice to see. It's always good to have games where it's not just one deck constantly winning all of the games. We've gone through the first 4 turns already, so we get past a bunch of land drops and stuff. We do have quite a bit of cards out, actually, and we will go over what was played as we get to each of the decks. We're starting turn 5 over here on Aerith Gainsborough. We were able to get her out. She is a 2/2 with lifelink. She is the commander. When you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on her, and when she dies, you can put those counters onto each legendary creature you control. We had Speaker of the Heavens, which is a 1/1 Vigilance lifelink, and tap it, create a 4/4 Angel with flying, because you only do that if you have 7 or more life than your starting life total. We got Suture Priest out, which is a 1/1 that says whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain a life. When a creature enters under opponent's control, you may have them lose 1 life. And finally, on turn 4, we played Life Creed Duo, a 1/2 flyer that says, again, when a creature enters on your side, you get to gain a life. We also played the Collector's Cage, which is an artifact that has Hideaway 5, meaning when it enters, you look at the top 5 cards of your library, you may put one under it face down, and then you have the Collector Cage's ability, pay 1 and tap it, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Then if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, you may play the exiled card without paying its mana cost. Quite a bit, but of course we've got there are a bunch of 2-drops and 1-drops, other than Aerith, and that's only a 3-drop. So we untap for turn, draw. I'm actually going to tap 1 and tap the Collector's Cage to put a +1/+1 counter onto the Speaker of Heavens. So it is now a 2/2, we have a 1/1, and we have a 5/5 and a 1/2. That is enough to trigger the Collector's Cage's ability. So we get to cast the down card for free. It's just a Thran Dynamo. I didn't hit very good on those 5 cards. Most of them were lands. But hey, mana ramp's always good. Because I'm going to tap the Thran Dynamo for an Urza's Incubator. It's an artifact that says when it enters, you choose a creature type. I'm going to choose Angels. Now, creatures of the chosen type cost 2 less to cast. Now that we've done that, I'm going to tap 1 to play the creature, Angel. Dazzling Angel. It's a 2/3 flyer. Also says when another creature enters, you gain 1 life. Now that says when it enters, not under your control. Nope, sorry, it does. When another creature you control enters, you gain 1 life. However, we've got 2 triggers. We've got Suture Priest and Life Creed Duo. We will gain 2 life total, but that's 2 instances of 1 life gained, which means Aerith gets 2 +1/+1 counters. So we're currently at 46 life. We need to gain 1 more life in order to do Speaker of the Heavens ability. Our commander is currently a 7/7 with lifelink, so we could totally swing that somewhere as long as it's a safe attack. Over here, we've got a Death Touching commander. We don't want to send it there. They only have a 3/2 that is currently up for blocking. And over here, we've got 3 different creatures. Not enough to take out Aerith, but they could stack block and do some stuff. But actually, it wouldn't matter. They wouldn't. So we've got 2 decent targets. And Tifa does have the most life, so we're going to go to combat, swing the 2 Final Fantasy heroines at each other. Sort of, because Tifa is tapped, so she can't actually engage in this little battle. I'm not going to block with the creature over there, because it's a very important creature for that deck. So they are going to take 7 commander. 2 more hits from Aerith, and that's commander damage. Obviously, we're probably not going to allow them to do that, but we'll see. We gain 7 life. Now we can go ahead and tap Speaker of the Heavens to make a 4/4 Angel with flying. Now here comes another fun thing. As that Angel token enters, that's going to trigger all 3 of these creatures so that we gain 3 life, but that's going to put 3 counters on our commander. We are now at 56 life, which is pretty sweet. I've got 2 mana left, but there's nothing I can do with it right now. And what I'm going to do is clean up this mat a little bit. We're going to move these little guys down, because while they are flyers, these 2, it's a 1/2 and a 2/3. We could swing them in a pinch if we need to for that last little bit of damage, but otherwise they're here to gain us life and trigger the commander's ability. I'd much rather keep popping out 4/4s to use them in the air. We're going to go ahead and pass turn. Over to Black Waltz number 3. We were able to get out Gutter Snipe, a 2/2 that says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, Gutter Snipe deals 2 damage to each opponent, and the commander itself, Black Waltz, Number 3, it says Flying Death Touch 2/2. When you cast a non-creature spell, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. I'm going to tap 3 mana and cast the instant Seething Song, which gets me 5 red mana. On cast, that's going to deal 4 damage to each opponent. We now have 5 red mana. I'm going to use 2 of it to cast Jet Medallion. That is not an instant sorcery, so Gutter Snipe's not going to activate, but our commander will. So that will deal another 2 damage to each opponent. Jet Medallion, of course, makes black spells cost 1 less to cast. I still have 3 floating red mana and an untapped land. I'm going to use 1 of that red mana and tap the Haunted Ridge for a black, because it costs less, to cast the sorcery Dire Insight. I'm going to Surveil 2, draw 2 cards, then lose 2 life. But when I'm casting on cast for a sorcery, again, everyone of the opponents is going to take 4 damage. So you can see how powerful Black Waltz can get, because in one turn we've just dealt 10 damage to each of our opponents. That's 30 damage total off of 3 spells. If I had one of the doublers out, like Fiery Emancipation, well, that's a tripler, Fiery Emancipation, or City on Fire, or Angrath's Marauders, which is a doubler, that could have almost ended the game. I have 2 floating mana, but they're both red, so unfortunately I can't use that for anything. But oh, wait a second. Almost forgot to take my damage. So I'm going to play a mountain for turn, and now with that 2 floating and the mountain, I actually can play something that will help in the long term. Chromatic Lantern. Lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color, and it itself taps for 1 mana of any color. So now I don't have to worry about what the colors are, or what my lands are tapping for. Black Waltz is a Flying Death Touch 2/2, but as we saw last game, it's really better to leave him up for blocking as a deterrent, because 2 commander damage is okay. It's not really going to do much. Over time, it's going to take forever for you to get commander damage with that. There's nothing in the deck designed to beef up Black Waltz's power, and even just regular damage, it's still just 2 damage. When we get down to low life totals, it might be important, but as of right now, it's better to just hold it back to stop your opponents from swinging in. That's all we're going to do. We do have 12 freaking commander damage from Tifa, so that's a very big concern, but we're going to pass. So if Tifa tries to go for the finish, we might have to sacrifice Black Waltz to Death Touch kill it. But depending on how big Tifa is, it might not even matter. So we come over here, we untap, upkeep, draw for turn, and what do we have over here? We have Emerald Medallion, which makes green spells cost 1 less to cast. We have an Endless Atlas that says pay 2 and tap it to draw a card. Activate only if you have 3 or more lands with the same name. Since this is a monocolor deck, we have a ton of forests, so it'll totally help us draw cards. We've got our commander Tifa Lockhart out. She is a 1/2 with trample, and whenever you play a land, she doubles her power till end of turn. We saw last game, it was decent, but because that only doubles her toughness each time a land comes in, it does make her easy to just be destroyed. Thankfully, this time around, we do have an enchantment aura on her called Well Rested, something none of us are ever able to achieve ourselves in real life. The enchantment says whenever this creature becomes untapped, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it, then you gain 2 life and you draw a card. It only happens once each turn. So I will in fact put 2 more counters on her, draw a card, and gain 2 life. We finally have Traveling Chocobo, which is a 3/2 that says you may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may play lands and cast bird spells from the top of your library. I don't care about bird spells in this deck. It's all here for the final piece, which is if a land or bird you control entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control, that ability triggers an additional time. Meaning that when we play a land, Tifa's ability triggers twice per land, which makes her far more important and far more dangerous. Green spells cost 1 less, so I'm going to tap 3 to play the Earth Crystal. Green spells cost 1 less to cast. If 1 or more counters, like at the beginning of our upkeep, are placed on a creature, twice that many are placed instead, and you can pay 6 mana to distribute 2 +1/+1 counters among 1 or 2 creatures you control. So as of right now, green spells cost 2 less to cast, and I have not played a land yet, so I will do so. I'm going to play a land for turn. Tifa is currently a 5/6. She's going to double to a 10/6, and then thanks to the Chocobo, double again to a 20/6. That being more than enough to take out you. However, you are the life gain deck. See, here's the tricky part, right? We can swing over here now, thankfully, take them out, because we've just seen them do quite a bit of damage. If they're able to do that again next turn, they could conceivably maybe not take out the table, but do enough damage to make things really, really desperate. The life gain deck isn't doing much damage, but it's gaining a lot of life. If they are able to get the Aetherflux Reservoir out, which we saw last game, they could totally start blasting people and winning the game that way. So these are the two targets. Helix Pinnacle is, of course, not doing anything because we don't have the Pinnacle out, which is the risk of this deck. It won the first game in a funny come from behind thanks to a bunch of fog spells. That's not always going to happen. The deck is a bracket 1, bracket 2 at best, and that's okay. I like that. I'm fine with it. It's just not quite well suited against the other 3 decks, but I wanted to showcase all of them and give you guys a chance to check out different types. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tap 2 because green costs 2 less to play Harmonize, draw 3 cards, and I'm going to move to combat, swinging Tifa at you. She is a 20/6, and here's an interesting tabletop sort of like, start the politicking. Like, as this player, as the Black Waltz player, you're going to lose. You have 4 toughness to block with. That would put the damage coming through to 16. You already have 12 damage. 10 damage getting through would be lethal commander, so 16 is definitely going to be. So there's nothing you can do to stop what's about to happen. You cannot save yourself. So we will then take the damage and lose. The question then becomes, do I block with Black Waltz to kill Tifa as a spite move? Because all that's going to do is help these guys, give them a chance to maybe do something. And quite honestly, if you're losing, why do you care about helping the other players? I mean, I'm not trying to be a jerk about that, but seriously, like even with your friends, I mean, this isn't about playing with random people you've never met before. Playing with your friends, you are absolutely losing. There is nothing you can do. You pass priority. Nobody has any responses. No one can help you. They're probably like, hey, block it and kill it so we have a chance. But like, why? What does it mean? What's the matter? Why? Honestly, I don't see the point. Maybe that makes me a jerk, and if so, let me know in the comments. Again, it's not spite, but it's like killing her would be a spite move. It's like, well, you may take me out, but I'm going to take out your commander with me. It's like, I get that. It really honestly, it comes down to your mindset. There's probably plenty of times where I would do I'm taking out your commander then if you're taking me out. I'm not really in that kind of a mood right now, and it's like, meh, whatever. You won fair and square. It's like, you guys are on your own. Figured out. Why, I tried. Come on, life gain, do something with your little 1/1s and 2/2s, right? So we are done. Black Waltz is out. Nothing we can do over here. We have no more mana. We're going to pass turn. Untap over here. Maybe they're a little upset with that player. I don't know that you would really be super upset, but whatever. Draw for turn. Evolving Wilds, crack it for a forest. Thank you very much for checking out the channel, by the way, and watching the episode. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Maybe throw some likes around, all that kind of stuff. Check out the other episodes. And plus, check out in the description my other social media links. The whole point of the Unskilled Commander is mainly so that I can do charity streams on Twitch. So I'd really appreciate it if you go follow me on Twitch and maybe here on YouTube or on Blue Sky so that you know when I'm going to do my charity streams on Twitch. I do them throughout the year. This is my second year doing charity streams to raise money. I get a bunch of other content creators to help play Commander for like 6 hours on a Saturday or 6 hours during the week after work. It's a lot of fun. You get to see some awesome gameplay and check out some of your favorite creators. But moving on. Unfortunately, there's really not much we can do. We're going to tap 3 for a Cultivate. And you know what? Tap another 3 for Journey of Discovery. Both do the same thing. Search your library for 2 basic lands, put them in your hand, shuffle your library. Well, for Journey of Discovery, you can either search for 2 lands, put them in your hand, or put 2 lands from your hand on the battlefield. So it's not quite the same as Cultivate, which says put 1 on the battlefield, 1 in your hand. But whatever, we're going to go get 4 lands and 1 of them on the battlefield tapped. Oh, and I didn't go through what was over here because that actually comes into play right now. First, I have a Circle of Dreams Druid. It's a 2/1, tap it, add green for each creature you control. Llanowar Visionary, it's a 2/2. When it enters, I got to draw a card, and I can tap it to add 1 green mana to my mana pool. Finally, we have the Commander, Azusa Lost But Seeking, a 1/2 that you may play 2 additional lands on each of your turns. So I will then drop 2 of the lands that went to my hand just now. However, I have 1 land in hand, and I have 2 spells. Both of them are 2 drops, but they do not assist in the forward momentum of the board state. They are both go get a permanent out of your graveyard. They're designed to go get Helix Pinnacle out of the graveyard if someone manages to destroy it. So even tapping these to make a bunch of mana is useless right now. And I've said it last game as well, there's like 4 to 5 different cards in here that allow me to go search specifically for the Helix Pinnacle. I'm just not getting them, and that's kind of how it shakes out. I can try and put a little bit more card draw in here, which I should. And if you have any suggestions, that's great. I have a Harmonize in this deck as well as you saw in Tifa. There's a few other things that draw me cards, probably need more because card draw is always incredibly important in every deck, regardless of what it does, really. But that's all we got. We're going to pass. Over here to Angels, which has the only chance at taking out Tifa. What is regrettable is now we're not going to have any new winners because first game was won by Helix Pinnacle, second game was won by Aerith. So if Tifa's able to win, that'd be actually kind of cool, but I'm not going to try and make her win. I'm just going to see what happens. We untap, upkeep, draw. I will play the land I just drew. So what is a bad thing here is that I have 2 cards in my hand. Both of them are basically defensive spells if someone tries to blow up my board state. So that's not really going to help against Tifa, and there's not card draw over here right now. So I will tap 1 to tap the Collector's Cage to put a counter on this flying 4/4, making it a 5/5, why not? And see right now, maybe these 2 flyers are important because we kind of want to send as much as possible over at Tifa at this point. So once again, Tifa only has the Traveling Chocobo up, a 3/2, and that's kind of important, so we're not going to want to block with that. So I'm going to go ahead and swing. Well, I guess we will end up having a extra blocker, so it's good. We're going to send 5, 6, 7, 8 damage in the air. We do that automatically just to make it easier for myself. Damage happens all at the same time, so you don't want to break that up necessarily in a real game, but for my simplicity, it helps. So that damage cannot be prevented. There's no reach. There's no nothing. They don't have any open mana, even if they had something defensively over there, so we're good. I'm also going to send Aerith at you, because that's the important part, because we need to gain life, and nothing else has lifelink. She is a 10/10, so if you took that damage, that would put you at 17 commander damage. But again, you really want that Chocobo out, so I think you're going to go ahead and take the 10 commander up to 17, down to a dangerous 6 life, but we gain 10, and now we're able, second main phase, to tap the speaker to make another 4/4 angel. Also, before we get moving too far, when Aerith connected and we gained the life, that's going to give her another counter, not during combat damage, but after the fact, because we gain life, she gets a counter. Now, when this angel comes in, we get 3 instances of gaining life, meaning we're going to gain 3 total, and she's going to get 3 more counters. So she is now at 14/14 with lifelink, which is fantastic. However, you will note, if someone were to blow her up or do something, her second ability would fizzle because we have no other legendary creatures on the field. There are legendary angels in the deck, we're just not getting them. We've done all of that, there's nothing else we can do. We have to try and remember that we have some defensive plays right now, so we're going to go ahead and pass turn. So we untap over here. Tifa gets 2 counters off of the enchantment's ability. We draw a card and we gain 2 life. Hey, we're up to 8 life. That's crazy. All right. This is going to be interesting because now that we know what is in both hands, well, you don't necessarily, I haven't gone through what Tifa has just yet, but the point being, we can definitely swing for a lethal commander on life gain, but they have a way to stop the damage in their hands, sort of. It's an interesting card. It's a fun card. It's not going to necessarily buy them the game, but we'll see. All right, first, I'm going to go ahead and play a Fabled Passage. Tifa is currently a 7/8, so that's going to double to a 14. Chocobo's trigger hits, so that's going to double to a 24. Then we're going to crack the Fabled Passage for a Forest. Forest comes in untapped because of the ability, but more importantly, that's going to be 2 more triggers. So the 28 doubles again, up to 56, and then thanks to the Chocobo, one more time, she is now 112. She's 112/8. Still a very small toughness, which could be stacked, blocked, and destroyed. Under normal circumstances, no one on the board currently has that kind of capacity, but a lot of games you would see it still would be risky. However, 112 trample commander damage, you're going for it. So we're going to move to combat and swing, obviously at you. In response, you're going to tap 2 and play Angel's Grace. Actually, you're going to tap 1, sorry. It has split second. You can't lose the game this turn, and your opponents can't win the game this turn. Until end of turn, damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1 reduces it to 1 instead. And even if you block with the 4/4, that's still 108 damage, you would definitely be down to less than 1. So you're not even going to bother because it's split second. As soon as they go to combat, you just fire that off. You're not going to declare blockers. You're just going to be like, whatever. Let the damage happen. It would reduce our life total to less than 1, but because of the effect of Angel's Grace, we now have 1 life. That's all that they can do. There's nothing that continues it. We go to second main phase. I'm going to go ahead and tap. We're going to go ahead and tap 6 for Cage Sun, declaring green. So Tifa now gets +1/+1. All of our green creatures do, and green mana doubles. And that is for everybody. So technically that would help out the Helix Pinnacle deck a lot. So we got to make sure that they don't get the Helix Pinnacle. But that's all we got. We're going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap over here. Upkeep, draw. Nope, it's just a land. So we drop the land. We drop a second land thanks to Azusa Lost But Seeking, and there is literally nothing else we can do. There's no need to use all this amazing mana. We're going to go ahead and pass turn. And that's fine. As I said before, I'm not upset with Helix Pinnacle doing kind of just stalling and dudding out right there. I knew that's how it would perform. I was really surprised the first game when it won. So just need to tweak it a little bit more and try and get some extra card draw in there to speed it up. So if nothing else, because if we can't get to the Helix Pinnacle and we can't get to one of the things that gets Helix Pinnacle, then just draw into more ramp spells and thin the deck and draw out all the lands, because then that'll speed up getting to the other spells. But here we go. We're going to untap over here. Upkeep, draw. It's a land. Play it. It's okay. It's not super horrible. I will tap 1, tap the Collector's Cage to put a 1/1 counter on this flying 4/4 angel. And that's kind of it. We don't really need to do much else because they are at 8 life and they don't have flyers. So we move to combat. Heck, we swing all of the flyers at them. That's 5, 10, 11, 12, 13 damage in the air. Nothing they can do. Kabosh. They are done. Sorry, I almost forgot. Like I was kind of like, I was basically ignoring Helix Pinnacle, and they still exist and they could still do stuff. So I also would have swung Aerith at them because I am still at 1 life. And we do have, once we make another angel, which we're totally going to do, we at least have enough blockers that they can't swing in their little tiny guys and win. But regardless, we swing a 14/14 at you. You don't need most of these creatures. So you'll block with the Lana War Visionary. I will still gain 14 life, up to a whopping 15 in my life gain deck. But hey, we did get smacked by 112 commander damage, so the fact that we exist is pretty impressive. We're going to tap this to make another 4/4 angel, which actually would have put us down creature-wise, but we took out one of their creatures, so it balances. We'll just put that token there. That's another 4/4. We'll put it down here with the Suture Priest. So those are our blockers. We gained life off of Aerith, which means she got another counter, up to 13 counters. And once again, when this angel comes in, 1, 2, 3 more life, 3 more counters up to 16. So she's at 18 right now. And we are at 18 life. Pretty cool. We do have enough mana to fire off this Clever Concealment if we need it, which any number of target non-land permanents you control phase out. So I don't believe there's any kind of green board wipes in there, but if they had one, we'd be ready for it. Pass turn. Untap nothing because we didn't tap anything. Upkeep and draw, and it's another forest. So now we're kind of screwed. I don't believe that is important. That was from a different... I think that was from Tifa. There's no point in swinging because we have a 1/1 and a 4/4. You know, they could literally block both of these and take out both of my creatures. And it's better to have these to block the giant commander at least. So we pass turn. Oh, hang on a second. I apologize. I do not have this creature. I forgot. I was just like, yeah, we gained a bunch of life. This only works if you have 7 or more than your starting life total. We are at 18. We definitely do not have 47. So we are down to just the Suture Priest as a blocker. We could have swung, but again, it wouldn't have mattered because the Suture Priest could have actually taken out the one creature, leaving just the commander, and it's, whatever. It still wouldn't have affected Helix Pinnacle swinging this way. Draw for turn. Okay, well, this is something. We're going to... Oh, there we go. I forgot about that. Okay, so we're going to tap 1 Plains to play Serra Ascendant. It's a creature with... It's a 1/1 with lifelink, and as long as you have 30 or more life, it gets +5/+5, so we don't, actually. So it is, in fact, just a 1/1 with lifelink, which is very rare in a commander game for Serra Ascendant. But when it comes in, it triggers the 3 life gainers, so we gain 3 life up to 21, and she gets 3 more counters up to 19, 20, 21, and we have a Rogue's Passage. So move to combat, well, before combat, still in main phase 1, tap 4, tap Rogue's Passage, make our commander unblockable, move to combat, swing a 21/21 life gain commander at you. That is literally the 21 commander damage needed. Kabosh. Helix Pinnacle is done. We gain 21 life up to 42. And there you have it. So the life gain deck has actually won 2 of the 3 games. That's kind of impressive. Now, again, these decks weren't super well suited for each other. It's weirded out that Tifa didn't win any of the games. You can see how crazy powerful she is. But the flip side of that, and you'll see that in a lot of discussions, is that commander damage decks don't always win and don't have the best track record because you have 3 opponents. So when you get that commander up high enough to be a massive threat, you've got 3 people trying to target it and blow it up or just take you out. Whether you've got a bunch of equipment on it or whatever, she was able to take out this character. She almost took them out, except they just happened to have good protection spell ready, and then they would have easily, wiped out them. So literally a luck of the card draw sort of situation. But at the same time, she's still not a guaranteed. She's probably one of my, I would say at this point, Tifa's probably my second best deck, honestly, if I'm being really open about it. My best deck being Imodane the Pyro Hammer. But I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you saw some cool cards that maybe you want to put in your decks, or maybe you have these decks and you've got some suggestions for me on how to make them better. Please let me know in the comments. I'd love to know. I'd love to always improve my decks and, be more of a contender and hang with better and better players. So thank you very much for checking out my channel. I'll see you next time.